Virtual reality and vision. The podcast will discuss virtual reality as specifically related to our vision. The goals of the podcast are a definition of vision, the components of vision, and an assignment to bring a better understanding and appreciation of our vision. The main and biggest challenge in virtual reality is to be able to simulate our natural three-dimensional vision onto a two-dimensional plane. As noted, part of this podcast is based on my class project for a virtual world certificate course at the University of Washington. We should understand that our vision just doesn't mean what the eye physically sees, but how our vision relates to our other senses, to our thinking, to our movement, and to our behavior. Typically, when people think about the vision, they think about being able to see clearly. For example, the 20/20 line on an eye chart. Vision, as will be explained, has many components, only one of which is our ability to see clearly. One of the most important components of our vision is a structure in the brain that's in the midbrain, and it is involved with most of our subconscious processes. The structure is known as the hypothalamus, and as will be explained, controls many body functions, including our vision. Interestingly, the hypothalamus is located in the geometric center of the brain, affording it maximum protection from trauma. And this is understandable because once the hypothalamus is damaged, our health and even our life are in jeopardy. In addition to its many functions, the hypothalamus has various structures that allow it to perform these many functions. One of the most important functions of the hypothalamus is its connections to the pituitary and adrenal glands. An adequate explanation of the hypothalamus is beyond the scope of this podcast. Hopefully, in the near future, there will be a separate podcast devoted exclusively to the hypothalamus. The chart shows some of the many functions of the hypothalamus, and it should be self-evident that this is a most important and critical structure in the brain. A particular note in regard to this podcast is that the hypothalamus regulates the brain waves, the electroencephalogram, the retina of the eye, and the eyes focusing. Visual acuity is perhaps the most known of the vision properties. The slide explains the notation 20/20, which is known as Snellen notation. For example, the notation 2200 means that what an average person can see at 200 feet, this particular person can only see at 20 feet. Our color vision allows us to enjoy all the beauties of nature with all of its various colors and shades. The human eye is most sensitive to the lime green color, which in technical terms is the wavelength 555 nanometers. To emphasize the sensitivity of the eye to 555 nanometers, the lime green color, we note that Kodak film has a bias in the red, whereas the Fujifilm has a bias in the green. So looking at a photo of the same scene, the images in the Fujifilm appear to be brighter and more contrast than that of the Kodak film. A lesser-known property of vision is known as contrast sensitivity function. We need good contrast sensitivity function in order to recognize objects, such as someone's face and features. We can use contrast sensitivity testing to help diagnose some diseases and vision anomalies. The purpose of the assignment is to make you more aware of the variability in your vision and how you most effectively can use your vision. More details about our vision will be presented in the next podcast. This is the contact information. If anyone has any questions or would like more details of the presentation, feel free to contact me.